All right, today I'm going to be walking you guys through one of the first compositions I wrote, and this one is now known as Perseverance. Early on in my playing, I didn't necessarily name my pieces, and I'm not entirely certain what this was originally. Again, early on in my playing, well, really most of my pieces in general, no matter what, always start with some sort of concept. And I always find myself drawn to this idea of a repetitive idea that doesn't really change, and it stays throughout an entire piece. And this was basically one of my first attempts at something like that. This little idea, da 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 da, right? Not all those notes, but that stays pretty present throughout this piece. But I found really quickly through the first couple of measures that it couldn't really stay, at least with the way that this piece was manifesting within itself. So I also, as a composer, typically am pretty good at allowing the piece to tell me what to do, as opposed to anytime I have the full idea of what I want. That piece doesn't usually make it very far. So I try and stay inspired with what's actually happening. So that was the original concept to this piece. And then you're going to find some other things about this piece that really just kind of showcase everything that I kind of do as a player and as a composer, and what interests me. This is just one of those pieces that just kind of like, it just kind of showed exactly like what I was going to kind of end up doing with a lot of my material. So here's the opening to Perseverance. Could you hear that little melody on the inside there? It's really hard to play, actually, when you have the melody and a counter melody as well happening on there. So that was an originally hard concept there. I really like challenging myself as a player, making sure that the music I write and the music I play is something that challenges me. And you'll find in this very next part here, not only did I add this melody, but then I start adding in these extra chords, and then it has to expand. And already, once we get out of this, sorry about that. Right there, I've already broken away from this little melody, but so we have a second little idea that's going on this section here, and it just really opens up to new sounds, new chords. Just it went somewhere, and I thought that was really great. So you'll find that I'm just constantly interested in what more can I add, not necessarily in how much more can I fit in this mentality that can get really displeasing really quickly, but I'm always trying to see, what can I get away with to some degree. So yeah, I really liked how this piece turned out, and when I shortly after writing this song, or even maybe while I was doing it, I was reading a book by Seth Godin, had something about a linchpin and how you want to be irreplaceable, basically. And he had suggested that, musicians, composers should stop writing music with titles like Sonata Number One, or, really basic names, and you should go with feelings, ideas, or what you think the piece is. So yeah, I have named this piece Perseverance because I thought that's kind of what this piece kind of sounds like. something is just kind of going, and you can kind of hear with the mood. It's a pretty serious, somber type mood, and you never necessarily get away from it until the very end. But through it, I just hear a lot of perseverance to just go through this process, and that's why I wrote it that way. But that does not exclude you. If you hear something else in this piece, I'd love to hear what pops in your head when you hear this song. I'm not always tied to the specific names of this, but I do believe perseverance is definitely a word that could easily describe this piece. So yeah, I'll continue on here. Let's see. Then we come back to that melody. Sorry. Okay, aside from me butchering some of this, I apologize. The second time through, I do a lot of the same, and then I also switch it up a lot. And I believe, at least for me, what works for me as a player is to never play something the same way. So I try to never write something the same way, even if I come back to the same idea. How can I play this idea? How can I write this idea differently? So those are always, again, just these basic concepts to my basic path of composing. And then I just got so lucky with this piece, honestly, because, again, this was like one of the first things I did. I didn't know what I was doing, and clearly, because I had this idea, and it totally went off in a totally different direction. This middle section here, right in the middle of the piece, when I play this piece, this is almost exclusively what I practice. This is another great moment of, hey, I put this in here, and I also put this in here, and I have 10 fingers. And making that all happen sometimes is really, really difficult. But I love the payoff from this section here. So you have this right hand. That's the melody. Listen to how everything else happens through this, especially in the right hand. The left hand's just doing a basic arpeggio. The first half of this, then I come back, I restate that, and listen to those counter melodies, because they get all the more difficult for me. This is where I usually get tripped up with my fingers. So now I have officially changed keys. And the tone has also officially changed. So I feel like, in general, the story, the person is getting to the other side of what's going on, and the ideas, they're all there, but they're in a different presence. Let's see. again, sorry for butchering this. Maybe I should have used music to go along with this. I thought I had this better memorized than that. But this last little part here is really the last big idea I have when I'm composing. The piano has 88 keys, and I've told you this before, but this is one of the first times I got to do this. I really do open up this piano and I play pretty wide, especially here at the ending. There's in this piece, there's been a lot of action right here, but the left hand gets to drop, the right hand does continue to go up, and there's just kind of a fun little flourish to the ending. So it's just again, it's a piece I really like. It's a piece that turned out really well, and it's something that kind of made me say, oh, cool. I can actually do this stuff. I didn't necessarily know what I was doing at the time. I still definitely don't. I still compose basically in the same manner, where I try to be very open to ideas, and I have basic concepts, and typically within the first couple of measures, everything that got me to get down to compose the song in the first place is already by the wayside, and something else has completely replaced it. So here is the ending to this. If I can remember here. Let's see. Messing around with that ending chord. I'm always trying to figure out. Oops, I ran out of storage. But on that final chord right there, I am always listening to hear if there's a different way to make that ending. If you actually listen back to some of my previous recordings on this one, my ending has changed on here a couple of times. I'm kind of settling more often with what you just heard a second ago. But my music is always open to different ideas, and letting the music again speak to me. So sometimes that means that I'll find different new ways to play my music that I like more than I did previously. Although I say that, it's pretty rare that I actually end up finding something more than what I originally intended, which I always find is pretty interesting. It's really fun to know that what I first penned down, if you will, is kind of what I stick with for the most part. So hope you enjoyed. That was Perseverance. Thanks for watching.